Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at our notes on quadratic translations. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So what does it mean for a parabola to be translated? And this is very similar to yesterday, and it is a function is shifted up or down or left or right. And as far as our translation rule, it's similar to yesterday. End equals start plus or minus k, which is our shift. And if we are positive, we're moving up. And if we are subtracting, we are moving down. So looking at example 1, this says, use the graph and translation rule to graph a new line and label it using function notation. So our rule right here states g of x equals f of x plus 2. We want to graph g of x. So our rule is going to be up 2 because we have plus 2. So looking at our f of x parabola right here, I like to go to the y-intercept and move up 2. So my y-intercept for the g of x is at 3. Now I need to go to another point. So if I go right here, up 2, right here, up 1, 2, here, up 1, 2, and here, up 1, 2. And then it's important that we connect all of these as best as possible and label this g of x. So you are basically going to each of the points on f of x and moving up 2. Go ahead and try number 2 on your own. You can go ahead and pause the video if you'd like to try it on your own. It looks like our rule is h of x equals r of x minus 3. So our rule is down 3. We're going to go to each of these points and move down 3. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And connect them. I have trouble writing on this pad. Sorry, it should look a lot better. And there you go. The right-hand side, you are given the graph of 2 lines and you need to write the rule. So 3a says write a rule for f of x in terms of g of x. So we are writing a rule for f of x. So we need to start at g of x and see how we're translating. So it looks like if you start at g of x, each point moves down 2. So we're going to have g of x minus 2. Now write a rule for g of x in terms of f of x. So g of x equals f of x. When you start at f of x, you move up 2. So that's plus 2 for our rule. Now f of negative 1, we need to go to our f of x function and find negative 1 and see which y value corresponds to that, which is right here. So f of negative 1 is just 1. Now we have evaluate f of 2. So you need to go to 2 and up to our f of x parabola, which is red. So that looks like 4. G of 2. So same thing, go to 2, but we need to go up to our blue parabola because that's g, and that is 6. You can go ahead and pause the video and try number 4 on your own. So for number 4, write a rule for r of x in terms of h of x. So if we're writing a rule for r of x, we are starting with h of x. Looks like we are going up 1, 2, 3. So plus 3. Write a rule for h of x in terms of r of x. So when you start at r of x, you move down 1, 2, 3. So we subtract 3. Evaluate r of negative 1. When x is negative 1, y is 0. H of negative 1, looks like we're at negative 3. Okay. Now looking at number 9, which of the following notation correctly describes the equation for g of x if g of x has been translated from f of x? So we are looking for g of x and we start at f of x. So if we start at f of x, we are moving up 1, 2. So plus 2, f of x plus 2 is letter K. Number 10 says, which of the following notation correctly describes the equation for f of x if f of x has been translated from g of x? So we start at g of x, and to get to f of x, you move down 2, so minus 2. So we're looking for f of x equals g of x minus 2, which is letter P.